The waves rolled gently against the shore of Oahu, carrying with them the secrets of the island. Kaleo, a boy no older than 10, sat barefoot on the warm sand, watching the sun rise above the horizon. His mother, Leilani, was by his side, her long dark hair flowing with the breeze. To Kaleo, she was the very heart of the island, gentle yet strong, tender yet unyielding. Leilani had always shielded Kaleo from the harsher truths of life. Her laughter filled their small wooden home, nestled between palm trees and the sound of the sea. Yet there were nights when Kaleo noticed her staring silently into the fire, her eyes heavy with something unspoken. On one such evening, as the stars glimmered over the ocean, Kaleo gathered the courage to ask, "Mother, why do you sometimes look so sad?" Leilani smiled faintly, brushing his hair with her fingers, but she gave no answer. Instead, she whispered a song in Hawaiian, a lullaby that spoke of storms passing and skies turning clear again. Kaleo did not understand, but he felt it. Beneath the melody lay a story that had shaped his mother, a story she kept locked away like a pearl hidden deep in the reef. And although Kaleo was still too young to know, the truth would one day come crashing into his life, as fierce as the waves in a winter storm. Years passed, and Kaleo grew into a curious teenager. He loved wandering along the cliffs, diving into the turquoise waters, and listening to the elders tell stories of the island. Yet his mother's silence remained an unsolved riddle. One afternoon, while tidying their home, Kaleo stumbled upon an old wooden chest hidden beneath his mother's woven mats. Inside, he discovered letters bound by faded twine. The paper was fragile, the ink smudged by time, yet one detail caught his eye, his mother's name written again and again, often beside another name he had never heard before. Before he could read further, Leilani entered. Her face drained of color when she saw the chest open. She snatched the letters from his hands and whispered sharply, "Never touch these again, Kaleo." Her voice trembled, not with anger but with fear. That night, Kaleo lay awake, listening to the wind whistle through the palms. The mystery of the letters gnawed at him. Who was this stranger connected to his mother's past, and why did she guard the truth so fiercely? A few weeks later, Kaleo went with his mother to the bustling market in Honolulu. The air was rich with the scent of roasted pork and tropical fruit, and musicians strummed their ukuleles in the background. While Leilani bartered for fresh fish, Kaleo wandered past the stalls, his attention caught by a voice. An older man, tall and weathered by the sun, was speaking with a vendor. He said a name that froze Kaleo where he stood, Leilani. The man turned, and for a moment his gaze fell upon Kaleo. Something in the stranger's eyes was unsettling, almost familiar. Kaleo looked away quickly, but when he returned to his mother's side, he could not resist asking, "Do you know that man?" Leilani's face stiffened. She gripped his hand tightly and whispered, "Stay close to me. Do not speak of him again." But the seed of suspicion had been planted. It was during a storm, when rain lashed against their windows and thunder rolled across the sea, that Kaleo overheard the truth for the first time. Leilani believed her son was asleep, yet her voice carried as she spoke to herself by the fire. "Why must he come back here? After all these years, after what he did to me?" Her voice cracked, swallowed by the sound of rain. Kaleo's heart pounded. The pieces began to connect, the letters, the stranger at the market, the sadness in his mother's eyes. This man had hurt her in ways she could never explain to a child. From that night forward, Kaleo promised himself he would uncover the full truth, no matter how painful it might be. The next morning, Kaleo went to visit his grandmother, who lived in a quiet village near the cliffs. He asked her carefully, "Grandmother, who is the man my mother fears?" The old woman hesitated, her wrinkled hands tightening around her rosary. Finally, she whispered a name, Keone. "That name is forbidden in this house," she said, her voice stern. "He brought shame and sorrow to your mother. Do not speak it where she can hear." But Kaleo could not stop repeating it silently in his mind. Keone. The name became a shadow haunting his every thought, echoing through his dreams like a ghost. Days later, Kaleo saw him again. The same man from a market, standing by the edge of the harbor, watching the boats come in. His eyes seemed to search for something, or perhaps someone. Kaleo's instincts told him this was Keone. He followed him quietly through the narrow streets until Keone disappeared into a tavern filled with sailors. The boy dared not go inside, but from the doorway he could hear the man's laughter, rough and bitter. The sight of him stirred anger in Kaleo's heart. How could this man, who had caused his mother such pain, walk the streets so freely, as though the past had never happened? Unable to bear the silence any longer, Kaleo confronted his mother one evening. "I know his name," he said firmly.
Keone.
"Who is he to you?" Leilani froze. Tears welled in her eyes, but she did not answer at once. Finally, she whispered, "He was once family, blood of my blood. But he betrayed us in ways no family should." Her words trailed off, heavy with sorrow. She begged him never to seek Keone, to let the past remain buried. But the hunger for truth burned within Kaleo like fire. He could not simply walk away. Kaleo's search led him to the elders of the village, men and women who remembered the old days. With hushed voices, they spoke of Keone, a man once respected, who had turned cruel and violent. He had deceived Leilani, broken her trust, and left scars deeper than the ocean itself. It was said he fled the island in shame, vowing never to return. And yet, here he was, walking once more on Hawaiian soil. Kaleo's blood boiled. The truth was clearer now, yet one question remained. Why had Keone come back? The answer came sooner than expected. One evening, Kaleo spotted Keone waiting by the shoreline, his gaze fixed on their small wooden home in the distance. Kaleo's heart thundered in his chest as he approached. "Why have you returned?" he demanded. Keone's lips curled into a faint smile. "Because the past is not finished with me, nor with your mother." Kaleo clenched his fists. The man before him was not only a ghost of their history, but a threat to their peace. He felt the pull of fear and fury, yet also a burning need to protect the woman who had given him everything. That night, Leilani confessed the final piece of the story. Sitting by the fire, her voice barely above a whisper, she revealed the cruelty Keone had inflicted upon her. He had shattered her trust, stolen her dignity, and left her with wounds no one could see. Kaleo listened in silence, his heart breaking. For years, he had sensed her sorrow, but now he understood its weight. His mother's strength was not born of peace, but of survival. The truth had finally come to light. And though it left scars, it also gave Kaleo clarity. The man named Keone could never take their lives again. For in their bond as mother and son, stronger than the tides, lay the resilience of the island itself.